that you dream of will disappear and flutter on. Whoa, hold on just a little. We'll meet right here in the middle ground is where we'll stand. Let go of the riddle, 'cause you'll find life is a riddle that we're not meant to understand. But I'm so
We did it.
Way! Right, hello everybody, welcome back to another stream. Okay, now it's been a while since I've done a stream, and obviously you probably all know the reasons why. But we've been busy, and tonight we've actually got quite a lot to get through. Okay, now obviously if you don't know, it's been a pretty significant couple of weeks, especially over the weekend, but we found out some news not only for Ipswich Town but for the whole of the country as well. I sound like Boris Johnson, don't I? But obviously there was news announced Saturday evening regarding Christmas restrictions, and obviously the news about the positive coronavirus cases for Ipswich Town, including the manager Paul Lambert. And today Lee O'Neill confirmed positive as well. So this evening we're not just going to be talking about all the negatives, but we're going to be talking about how it's going to affect Ipswich Town, how it's going to affect League One as a league, and what this means for the next couple of weeks and how the season is going to look. Okay, so I'm not on my own tonight. As you will know, we are going to be joined by some regular guests on the channel. Okay, so we are going to get a nice little banner up I've created. There we go. And the first guest in, we'll add them in. They're in every week. My little duo, Coxie and Peter, are here with us tonight.
Hello.
Hola.
Hello. And we have also got the man, Ramondo. Okay,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
You've got three brilliant guests tonight, and hopefully we'll get another guest on in a little while. But yeah, boys, we've got a lot to get through. Before we do start, I just want to know how you all are. Obviously, we're in a tough time at the moment. I think this is probably the toughest time we've been in during this pandemic. But how's your day been, boys? How have you been coping? Anyone?
I'll let these guys go first.
Yeah, we're reasonably all right. We just that's just as it is, as it's been since March, really. Obviously, a bit gutted that there's, our beloved Ipswich Town are not going to be playing over Christmas. I mean, Christmas without football sucks, really. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. What do you say? You're right now.
Yeah, I'm good. It's just we're just going to miss football, aren't we, for the over the Christmas period?
Yeah, hoping we were hoping to go on Boxing Day. We were in the ballot, but alas, no.
Yeah.
On my end of things, I'm doing all right. Same with the other guys, really. I'm one part of the year I really look forward to in the football season is just generally watching the football when it's Christmas time. I always enjoy it. Always lovely to go on Boxing Day just after Christmas. Or even just before it as well, and New Year's as well. I remember going last season to Wickham away. That was quite a nice experience. But also, been to various fixtures throughout the last couple of years, all going far back than that. Just miss it, just miss being there, being in the atmosphere. It's not the same as we've been saying when you're behind a computer screen or watching it on the telly. Yeah. But, I guess the one thing we can look forward to is the fact that we've got 2 games in January time on Sky. We've got Swindon and we've also got Sunderland. Obviously, that's depending on how things go. But at the moment, it's just a sad time for us, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. And I've just seen Harvey's in the chat. Harvey, mate, we're waiting for you. If you want to get on the stream, mate, you've got the link. So get involved. But anyway, boys. Obviously, what I want to know, right? So Saturday, the news came out. Okay, and we are going to be talking about it today. But what was your initial reaction to the Tier 4 system news, as well as the positive tests that Ipswich Town announced as well. What was your initial reaction?
Well, go on.
Oh yeah.
No? All right, I'll go first. Well, I mean, it all came all of a sudden, didn't it? The tears. I mean, we kind of had a thought in our heads, really, that something was going to happen during the Christmas period. But as again, we've been saying all along, stuff like this should have been done ages ago. And here we are now. They can't cancel Christmas. Of course they can't. Because, you know, people have to, this is one of the most celebrated events of the year. And it's celebrated for a reason, obviously. And, you know, people, perhaps it's all about family. It's all about, you know, seeing everybody who you haven't seen throughout the last year or so. That's what Christmas means to people. And I think to do that, obviously, to put a tier 4 system, when the Prime Minister, I quote, said it was inhumane to cancel Christmas, then cancels it a couple of days after, you think, you know, what's going on? You know, who's influencing his decision to make that? And as for the football side of things, you know, it really upset me a bit in a way, in the fact that we got our game cancelled just because one person obviously tested positive. But it happened, and, you know, hopefully that Peterborough player is obviously recovering. Obviously, it's not great on our end either now, the fact that our manager, our business CEO guy, who he is, O'Neill, and a lot of the other coaching members have also got it as well, positive as well for it. But it is what it is. You know, it's a shame, but we just have to go with it. Maybe it's just happened for a reason, because we've had a lot of injuries, and this may benefit us in the long run if we're getting these players back. I mean, I don't know what Lambert's going to do exactly with these players, but we'll soon find out. So,
yeah, that's spot on that, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I'm trying not to get too political here, but personally, I thought it's a bit hard. But personally, I thought, you know, why then suddenly, as Ramondo said, backtrack on stuff? Why not just say that from the start? You know, unfortunately, this horrible virus isn't going anywhere. It's, you know, we went into the first lockdown in March. I remember old big bad Boris saying, you know, things will be all right by Christmas. Everything will be back to normal. Well, here we are. You know, there's Matty was reading out some of the news. Yeah, it's probably worse than that. Matty was reading out on his phone today some of the news, and they were saying that possibly infection rates could be right up there where they was in April. So it's right in lockdown. So hopefully that's wrong. Yeah. But you know, you can see what's going to come here. New Year,
looking like another lockdown.
Another lockdown. Yeah. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had enough of them already, really, but there you go.
So, obviously, Ramondo, you mentioned injuries. What I want to know is, obviously, the game against Peterborough at the weekend was postponed.
Yeah.
Do you think it came at a good time, considering the injuries we've got?
I mean, I'd like to say, as a fan, I'm confident with the team we've got, regardless of what state we're in. But in all honesty, a lot of people, as I've been looking into some of the comments, a lot of people who've been mentioning it on different various channels, I think the consensus was we weren't going to beat Peterborough. But I think what people do forget is the form recently Peterborough have had. It's been very similar to ours. They've been beating. They've been beating, let's say, the teams just below them, but they've lost to Portsmouth. They lost. I mean, they've lost a few freak results as well. Like they went on a really bad run of form where they lost to Crewe and they lost to Wimbledon and Blackpool as well. You know, this league on its own is one of the hardest leagues to get out of. Championship is obviously one of the best leagues in the world, as people keep saying. I agree with that as well, because it is quite a fun league. But this league is a scrap. It's so hard to get out of. And I think in terms of what we were going to be up against, I mean, you know, they didn't really change their squad that much. They only got rid of Ivan Toney to Brentford, and they've managed to replace him with a player we were linked with. You know, obviously, what a surprise. We never went for him. And he's now banging in all the goals. And I think he is top scorer in the league. Yeah. But I do agree. I think this game, in a way, as a fan, you know, you look at it both ways. I think in all honesty, it's probably come at a good time that we're not playing them now. But then, you know, how long does it take for these players who are injured to come back to their best? And that'll be hopefully, you know, when we next play them, whenever that is. I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully we'll be up for it. I mean, we would have been up for it anyway, but it's what Lambert's, you know, going to be playing with for now up until when we next play our next game, which I believe is against Fleetwood, apparently people keep saying. But we'll soon find out about that.
Yeah. Fair enough. What do you think, Pete? Do you think it came at a good time?
Yeah, I think so. With regard to the injuries, I think, as Raymond said, a lot of us, and I'll include myself in that, thought, you know, Peterborough would have beaten us, but they're not in the best of form. But it would just be a little bit of Ipswich Townitis really. There, we would have played Peterborough, and then they said the guy we were linked with would have probably come on and scored at least a couple of goals against us. So yes, I think it was a blessing in disguise, and I know we with regard to being manager of our beloved Ipswich, Paul Lambert, he's not our favourite guy, but I'm sure we all wish him well, and the other guys who are, not very well at the minute with this whole bloody virus.
It's a sad time, but hopefully
Coxie, I want to know what Coxie thinks as well, because you talked to me on PS4 as well, Coxie, a lot about this.
Yeah, it's come at a good time, as what Dad was saying, but it's not nice seeing people unwell with the illness. It really ain't. But it's just it's come at a good time. Hopefully the players are back once they're back playing. At least some of it.
I agree with that. No, definitely. But obviously we've also received the news that we aren't going to be playing against Northampton on Boxing Day, and obviously Wimbledon as well on the 29th. So we don't have a game now till next year, which sounds a bit weird. But do you think, obviously the next two games that have been postponed, do you think it's going to affect Ipswich Town in the coming weeks? Do you think this is going to have an impact on League One?
Well, yeah, because I mean, look at have you seen the table? How close it is from where we are? I mean, from top of the league to about maybe 12th or 13th. There's nothing in it. Anyone who wins a game in any of them positions, they easily leapfrog us in the table. It's one of them ones where you think you'd rather have the points on the table before the game's in hand, because from what I remember anyway, I know this is something we can't do much about, but we didn't have a good record in terms of converting them games last season when it mattered. And I know we lost quite a few games in hand last season. And hopefully it's not repeat. But, it does put us in a very much vulnerable position than probably it would be anyway. But something we can't do about. You've got to remember Sunderland and Peterborough, and possibly also, like Peter mentioned, Portsmouth could also be in this position as well. So it's all to play for. And we just have to see how it pans out for the next couple of weeks. And then when we come back, perform.
Alex, what are your thoughts on it? Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm annoyed that the game against Northampton got postponed, but obviously it's out of our control at the end of the day. I know I'm going a bit off subject, but I booked a day off work because I thought it was going to go ahead, but it's not exactly the club's fault. It is what it is. Like you say, I think it has come at a good time. I know that doesn't sound great to say, but looking at our form, we weren't in good form, and I think if we had to continue playing our games, I think we could have possibly struggled in our next few games, even against Northampton and Wimbledon. So in a way, I do think it's come at a good time, because some of our injured players can start to get back into their strides. Some of them can get back to full fitness, and when we do, I think personally, when we've got most of our injured players back, which it's not going to be too long for most of them. We come back, we go against Fleetwood. It's a new year, and you know what people say about New Year's, new year, new me. I think we've got the chance to go at it again with a more established squad.
Yeah, hopefully,
yeah.
Well,
you got to think so.
Fingers crossed. I think they'll have a nice break, and hopefully they come back and they realise that they haven't been playing great. But yeah, what I wanted to talk about next, boys, is given our inconsistent form, do you think this gives us a chance to reevaluate, like I was just saying? Do you think it gives us that chance to go again in the new year?
You've always got the chance to go again. You can lose a couple of games. It's as Raymondo said. You look at the league and it's so compact. If a team, and fingers crossed, Ipswich could string 3 or 4 wins together, you'll just be up the top and clear a little bit. It's just that compact, because nobody's actually showing any consistent form in there. I mean, God, Ipswich, if you could just do it, if you could just get that magic ingredients.
The thing is, I really have a lot of belief in this football club. I do. And I mean, we've been having a lot of belief in this football club for many, many years now. But, if we're going to do anything this season, this is the biggest opportunity our club has probably got in this window right now.
Yeah.
And at this moment in time, we're sitting currently, I think, 6th in the league, aren't we? Because Doncaster won at the weekend.
Can you see can you see Ipswich doing anything in this transfer window? Realistically.
Well, it's a very difficult question because, again, we haven't really actually bought anyone properly, like with actual money. We've gone for a free, where we're not actually gone and bought someone like that. And I think maybe it is time we do. I mean, we don't know how we're going to be playing when we come back yet. You see, we've got a very busy January period, as it would have been for this month as well. And you know, with this formation he's putting out each week, you know, he may just want to stick with the team he's got and the players he's got, and that is a good thing to do. I mean, look what happened to Leeds. Leeds kept most of their players. I mean, I'm not saying it's anything to do with our club, but when they're in the Championship, they missed out on the playoffs. Well, they win the playoffs, but they lost in the playoffs that first season when Bielsa came in. Second season, kept most of their players, added who they needed, and they went up. And I think all we've got to do is get them players, you know, playing for the shirt, get them motivated, get them playing for the team as much as possible, and they'll start believing. You see, the problem is this season for any team, really, it's the fact we haven't had the fans there, and that's not helped them at all. But then again, though, in any shape or form, really, you know, the team has to perform regardless of what they're under. And to think now we're in the position where we're sixth in the league, there's nothing in it, and you know, we've got Accrington who are in games, who've got lots of games in hand behind us. A lot of other teams have got games in hand still to play. We'll be in that situation soon. We have to capitalise on this, and I think the manager's got to start putting his point across on what he's wanting to play. Because if he's playing a 4-3-4, is it a 4-3-3? Is it a 4-4-3? I can't remember which one he's playing. 4-3-3. 4-3-3. That's it. He keeps playing.
I think he's got a finger machine. He pulls them out every just before every game.
He puts
the formation.
He puts a 4-3-3 on, and you think, well, it hasn't worked in the last couple of games. Changes it up, brings another striker on, or takes off a striker for another striker, then suddenly we somehow win a game. You know, there's a reason for that, because there's actual tactics there which are being used to win games, or it's the fact that he's just put two strikers up front instead of one. But I think it's got to be. I think this gives him a bit more time to think now. You know, if his tactics haven't been clear already, as they've been evident on the pitch, he's got a chance to reassess and put across, you know, where he thinks we're lacking. And I mean, he won't see that at the moment because, you know, he's very stubborn in what he says. But I think if we're going to go anywhere, it's got to be two up front, because we were so effective with two up front last season. Even though we lost games, we still played well because we still had a lot of attacking going forward. Our defence at times has been questionable this season.
That's a good comment. That just read
it
that.
Happens. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Would you agree? Would you agree with that, Pete?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is the realist side of me, and I go back to 2015 where we had Big Mick in charge, and we were second in the league behind Bournemouth. I know we're looking at this through hindsight, but that was the big opportunity there, and Mr. Evans didn't put his hand in his wallet for that. I mean, it was that time we could have gambled and got into the Premier League, into the promised land. So sorry, that's the realistic side of me, knowing that Mr. Evans, unless, you know, with Christmas Eve coming up, he's going to be visited by three ghosts. You know, perhaps the ghost of Ipswich, past, present, and the future may visit, and he might change. You know, you never know.
Yeah,
I'll say it now. I'll say it again. I was going to say this at the end actually, but I'll put it out there now. It may seem like a dreadful situation we're in at the moment, and trust me, behind the scenes it is. But you never know what can happen in the season. It could be our year. You just don't know it. This might be happening for a reason right now. So,
yeah, that actually leads me on to my next point, Raimondo.
Right.
So obviously, I was speaking to Coxie earlier about it. There's been talks of obviously the EFL being postponed, well, not postponed, but at hold. So obviously,
that's another rumor.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was that. Yeah, no, I don't know whether it's true or not, but there's other teams. There's Sunderland, Pompey. There's other teams in League One that are having to postpone their games as well as Ipswich. But do you think this season will end, or do you think they're going to have to squeeze these fixtures in?
They'll be squeezed the fixtures in, but it depends how bad it gets. It depends how bad it gets, because we had the situation last year this year actually, sorry, not last year. In March, where the whole season got cut short because it all began when it did. Obviously, we don't know how bad this is going to get, because there's all these different things coming up now in the news, which, one day something's happening, next thing something else is happening. But you just have to see how it goes. I think if I were anything to do with going forward with all, let's say I was part of all the football teams in this league making a decision on what I'd be doing, I'd be saying play the games. If if you go into the final part of the season and all the other teams have played their games already, and you still got to play a couple more, play them. What's the harm in it? At the end of the day, what's the point in not completing the season? Completing the season, you can. I mean, there was a talk a bit last year. When, let's say, Tranmere, they had a lot of problems with the EFL because they had like a game in hand. I think was it when in March time, when if they'd won that game in hand, they wouldn't have been in the relegation zone. And look what happened. They got relegated courtesy of the league getting cut short as early as it did. Points per game was put into place. Peterborough are denied as well playoffs. So I think if it's a fair way of going about with this, it's getting the season completed, no matter how long it takes. Because the season finished last season. Well, last season's finished very late on to, I think, was it just nearly August, weren't it? I think, near enough.
Yeah. Before they sorted it out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
you've got to look at it as well. Loads of small clubs will be will lose money for not playing football. And they will go bankrupt.
Yeah. And that's a sad thing to think about, really, because these clubs need the money. And even if they can't get the fans in because of all this going on, at least if they're playing the fixtures, then they're still getting a bit of money here and there. If they're not playing the fixtures, then they've lost a lot on it in terms of funds and income.
Yeah.
Alex.
Hello, I'm streaming right now.
Hi.
You're live on YouTube, mate.
When you finish, you can't give me a hand or something.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
How we be?
I don't know. But yeah. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. But what I would like to know is, say when we do return, because we are going to return.
Yes, we are.
Do you think it's going to be a challenge for obviously the injured players that are going to be returning to full fitness? Do you think it's going to be a challenge for them to break into our first team, or do you think the team that have been playing at the moment? Do you think it's going to be a bit? Do you think it would be harsh if we just straight out? What do you think?
Well, I think you just have to. Lambert's just going to have to do what he's got to do if he has to make that decision. If you think it's going to improve the team and get us back up the table and get us into the promotion places, and then that's what he's got to do. He's got to, I know we're sort of thinking. I don't know if it's the train of thought you're thinking. If KVY actually does put an appearance in, is that then going to mean Chambers is then out a bit? But because he's playing at right back, he was playing all right. His sort of performances are dropping off a bit, but KVY come out as his position.
Well, didn't Chambers last season play centre back with Wolfie?
Oh
He did. But his natural position is a right back, though, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he played with Forest and then us for a little while. Yeah.
Do you not think he plays better centre back?
I think again, like
I feel like he's too slow at right back.
Yeah, far too slow.
Well, yeah, he is. And I mean, if anyone's gonna take his position, if anyone's looking threatening to take his position, it'll probably be KVY when he comes back. But I mean, it all depends how loyal the manager is to keep him as captain. Because in all honesty, I mean, he hasn't really been sort of like the standout figure we've had this season. I mean, he's had a good few performances, but every other game I've heard is like he's been a ghost. He hasn't done much. He hasn't been heard, like initiating, trying to get everyone going on the pitch and trying to get him playing. That's what a captain usually does. And in all honesty, if he is to be dropped from captaincy, which it'll be a shame because he's a really big leader for our football club and he loves the football club as well. I think give it to Wolfie.
What, the captaincy?
If it goes that way, because you think the second in command, you'd say as the vice captain is Scouse, and Scouse is still not quite 100% fit.
I think he's had a knee injury.
I don't think he's going to come back. So we'll see.
I think Wolfenden would be quite a vocal captain as well. He's the sort of lad who,
I mean, it's been questioned for being quite too laid back. Wolfenden.
I think Wolfenden, yeah.
No, are you sure you don't? Are you sure he's not too laid back? He's not going to be leader.
Well, I've heard about that.
Yeah. Going back. Well, that's actually what Lambert said, isn't it? But one going back to Chambers. I mean, one of the feedback we had from the two games we had at Portman Road is, obviously there's only 2,000 people in there, and Chambers is very quiet. Usually when even the ground is reasonably full for us, you can always hear Chambers
screaming at people.
Yeah. But I mean, people just mentioning the fact that he's not sort of been doing enough, in terms of getting the players going on the pitch. And I mean, I don't doubt that for 1 minute. I think he's one of the most passionate players I've seen on the football pitch. But you know, with all this going on, you know, team keeps getting rotated every so often. Still, you know, it's a challenge. And I mean, I don't think he ever thought in this time as being an Ipswich player, he'd be in this position. I didn't think we'd be in this position ever, but here we are, and we have to do something about it because we don't want to be in this league for much longer, do we? So,
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, sorry, Alex, I was just going to add there. You know, there's questionable injuries. I mean, you think the coaching staff who have all actually got positive tests. You think, you know, do you reckon any of the players have probably got positive tests? Then you reckon?
Yeah, I
very
reckon.
certain. So you think then, if they're let's say the injured players get them, then how far back are we going to go back with that? Then, you know, like, I mean, how long's Naidan been out for? I'm putting it out there. Well, how long's Naidan been out for? You know, I haven't seen him since a friendly against Notts County. I mean, KVY is looking very close to coming back. I mean, I think Edwards is the same as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've got so many key players out. Downs, Bishop, Norwood. You know, all these players are key to having our team. And without them, you know, it's the extra push. We did all right, you know, to win against. It was against who was the recent opponent we faced? We beat. It was not Plymouth. I can't remember what team it was, but you know, we done all right. You know, we Burton Albion. That's it. Sorry, we won the game 2-1. You know, it wasn't ever that convincing, but sometimes you just got to reflect and think, well, we won the game, we can go forward. And we were going forward to, you know, the Peterborough game, and obviously that didn't get played. And with the injuries in mind, I don't like to keep blaming injuries because injuries is one thing, but we should have the backup for these players. You know, we're a good enough team to be competing with all these teams, but you know, the one thing we do lack is confidence at the moment. I think if we don't have that, we're not going to go anywhere. You know, I've said to the boys before, and Peter, you know, it's the confidence factor. If you can't deal with that as a football player, then what you're doing on the football pitch, you know, it's so key to have that element in your demeanour when you're playing.
Yeah,
so important. So
yeah. What I want to know then as well is obviously Lambert. You know, he's the manager. Some people, it takes longer for them to get over the virus.
Yeah.
If, say, for worst case scenario, Lambert doesn't recover as quickly as we'd like, do you think we can have more games postponed, or do you think there's going to be someone come? Do you think there'll be a temporary manager? What do you think?
Well,
see Brian Clegg step up possibly. You don't know.
Possibly, but has he got the virus though? Has he got the virus?
I wouldn't have thought.
No.
We don't know, do we? We don't know.
I agree. I agree with what Coxie just said. I think, you know, there's going to have to be someone temporary in charge of us because, you know, I think, was it David Moyes was out of... I think David Moyes couldn't manage because he had the virus early on in the season, and West Ham still play their games. Yeah. So there shouldn't be an issue with that, really. We just get someone temporary in, you know, and then we can just keep going forward from there.
Is this not the second time? No,
second time, I think.
It's the second time, yeah.
What, David, who?
Lambert.
It's the second time Lambert has had the virus, I think. I'm sure he's already
had it before.
I think
so, yeah.
I didn't even know that. I really didn't know that.
I could be wrong, but
no, it was Matt Gill. It was Matt Gill.
Right, okay.
Matt Gill,
yeah. Anyway, we've got 53 people in here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, boys and girls. Remember, go down there, smash that thumbs up button as well. And look, we are going to answer some comments in a sec as well. So get some comments or get some questions in the comments. And whilst you're doing that, I've actually got a little special shout out. Coxie, I told you I was going to shout out your channel, didn't I? So, boys and girls, I've put Coxie's link in the comments. If everyone could go and subscribe to him, he would massively appreciate it. It's true. Let's try and hit 50. We can get him to 50 subscribers tonight, I'm sure. If everyone went and subscribed to Coxie, we'd appreciate it. You've got what content are you going to be uploading, Coxie?
Pro Club. Just mainly FIFA.
But we'll see. You never know. You never know.
Pink slips. Some throwback wages, you know what I mean? On the old FIFA.
Can you see the link going in there?
Yeah. Cheers, man.
That's twice on that, yeah. Thank you.
Cool, no worries. But any questions, boys and girls, get them in the comments and we will respond to them. If you boys want to speak about anything.
I was going to mention I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but there is a game tonight. Doncaster are playing Shrewsbury at the moment, and quite a pinnacle game because Doncaster, if they win that game in hand, they could. I don't know if they're on 33 or 32 points. I can't remember. They're fourth or third in the league at the moment, And obviously, if they win that game, they could possibly either go top or within the top 3. So, yeah. But Shrewsbury, however, I don't know about you guys, but I think they recently got Steve Cottrell in, and they've been on a 5-match unbeaten run. Have you noticed? They beat Lincoln, they've beaten Hull, they've drew the last 3 games, obviously, but they can go there, nick a 1-0 at Hull City, and we lost 3-0. Like, confidence is such a key factor.
They've had a really good bounce effect with their new manager, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, he's clearly got them playing good football. And it doesn't have to be good football, it's belief.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Stephen, for the comment. I appreciate that. Lots of questions coming in. We've got a Norwich fan in here saying, I'm a Norwich fan, but I hope your players and stuff recover soon. Thank you, Mark. We've got a question from Lewis saying, what about Stephen Ward as captain if Chambers has to be dropped?
Well, I would say yes. I would say yes, but he's only here for 1 season.
Yeah, I feel like we need someone that knows the club inside out.
Yeah, because I hate to be harsh, but yeah, I agree with that as well. But he's only here for 1 season, I believe, because he's very near to finishing his career. And in all honesty, I'd love it if he'd be our captain, but I just think we need to have someone who's sort of not too old. He's Ipswich through and through. I'd say Downs personally, but Downs is still injured. Or Bishop. But I just think it's got to be someone who's been playing a lot of football recently. And I think Wolfie, even though he's been criticised for being too late back, I think he does seem like the ideal player to go for a captaincy if you're going to bring him through. And he could be, he nearly did go a couple of seasons ago to Sheffield United, or was it last season he went to Sheffield United? So if he's going to do anything for this football club, make him captain, he could be here for years to come, possibly, unless we don't go up this season.
I think the ideal person would be Downs. How long we're going to keep hold of him once he gets back. If his head's right, because when he has played this season, he has one game he came on, he wanted to fight everybody, and then and another game he sort of lunged out and sort of caused that injury.
He has got that demeanour in him where he is like showing everything for the badge, showing everything for the club, and I think that's really good to have in your system as a player. But passion. If you said to me, guys, who would be your ideal captain for the club, obviously you'd say Chambers. But I think Downs for me definitely has all the boxes ticked for me. But he's not he's injured at the moment, and I think until he comes back, if Chambers is to be dropped from the team when KVY comes back, or anyone else who's really performing well in training, never forget the fact that James Wilson, right? He's still. I don't think he'd be captain, but he wasn't playing too bad as a defender at the start of the season. So
I think he's underrated, isn't he? I think
he is. I think the way Lambert sort of treated him in a way, I kind of felt it's been a bit unfair because he actually hasn't been playing too bad. I know they had a stinker against Doncaster, but give or take, we didn't play well that game anyway. We got shown up because that was the first team we played who was actually showing proper attacking instinct against us, and I think we had it coming. But I think James Wilson is very underrated. I think, and he does deserve a bit more game time, I think, when he can. And, McGuinness is all right. I think he's coming through very well. But Wilson has got experience, remember. So, whenever he's back in.
We are saying this, that Chambers is going to be dropped once KVY back. But perhaps, as we said, Chambers would go back in the centre. Because let's face it, that position hasn't been consistent all season, has it? There's been a couple of good ones there. Perhaps he would slot back in with Wolfie.
Yeah. He probably might. Because it's in the team. Sorry. This is
a good question. Ideal formation and team when everyone is fit then?
Wow.
What would you say?
That's a question, that, isn't it?
It is a good question.
I mean, for a start, I've got nothing against Dye in goal at the moment. Nothing against him, but I'd have Holy in goal for a start. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, Alex, your mum's a very big fan of Holy. I know for sure.
Holy. Yeah, she does.
Yeah. So goalkeeper sorted then. Who's the defenders?
I think 4-4-2, especially in this league.
Yeah.
It works. It works. It worked it worked at the start of last season until we bottled it. But
a special shout out, to Dobra. Dobra's actually been one of our class performers in the last couple of games. I think he's been very underrated. I think he's come through very well as a player. And even though he's been questionable about, his how he sort of portrays himself on the football pitch, like he's a bit of a hothead. It's good to see it. I think it's good to have one of these players, and he's actually doing quite a lot with the ball as well. So
you have got to have a bit. You have got to have a bit of passion. I said about Downs, but God, you do need, especially in our side. We are too nice at sometimes. We do need that fight in there. Yeah.
I think left back I'd go Ward, right back I'd go KVY, centre backs
yourself.
Score, you know you got to say
it. Wolfie would be in there, and it's between Chambers and Wilson, to be honest.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that, actually. Yeah.
I think going forward, I think personally, going forward, it has to be Wilson.
Yeah.
Just because of Chambers' age and he's getting old.
But the thing with Wilson is that he when he deals with, like, let's say he's in a position where, like, we could be facing, I don't know, a one-on-one. What he tends to do is he doesn't mess about. He clears the ball into Rose Ed, and sometimes you may think, oh, it's terrible. Why has he done that for? You're giving the other team a throw-in, but actually, if in that state of mind you think if it's to not be silly with the ball and start dribbling it out your own box or pass it into, like, across, let's say, hospital ball, as they usually call it, when, like, you pass it across the D and stuff. I think having one player, like, composed and very experienced, I say, you've got experience on both ends. You've got one who's actually our current captain of the football club, who could be repositioned as a centre back for when KBY comes back, or you've got a player who's fairly experienced, has not actually been that bad this season when he's played. So it's a question which only the manager really can go for. But I'd say Chambers obviously would be a good addition to keep in the squad because he's the captain, because he's the passionate one. But Wilson as well is a good contention to get that place because he generally is a very, I'd say, is it versatile, the best way of putting it? Versatile defender?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not messing about. That's what we need.
Who would you have as your ideal two centre mid partnership in a 4-4-2? So you got the likes of Bishop.
Cool. You've got a good question there, because it's out of the three, innit? For me, it's Bishop or
I'd go
Bishop or
Bishop and
Downs.
I think Bishop and Downs.
Yeah, possibly. Again, I mean, the thing is, what's questioned me this season? Sorry, Alex. Is Dazelle, is he actually generally a CDM or is he just a centre mid? Because they've been putting him at CDM, and is that his natural position? Because I thought he was a bit more attacking than that.
I always thought he was a cam, but player behind the striker.
Yeah, I think he's more suited to that.
Yeah.
I remember clearly season as a player that sits behind like Skews does.
Yeah.
In terms of the wingers, I'd go Edwards definitely. And
Judge.
I mean, I personally think Keenan
Bennett's on the other side.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know what? That goal he scored against Burton, I know it's Burton, but it was a really good goal. The way he took that with confidence there, that is how we should be playing. That knockdown from Jackson and that shot there, that was really good play from us. And we haven't seen enough of that. We haven't seen enough of them sort of attacking moments, in the game. We just pass it sideways and backwards. And we need to do more of that. I thought we need to do more of that.
But no, he got injured.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I think Norwood and Jackson up front probably.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They played well last season, didn't they? As a partnership.
I mean, does Hawkins and Jackson play well together? Because I thought they scored a couple. Well, I think Jackson's he's only scored one goal this season so far, but the goal itself was a knockdown from Hawkins. I mean, Hawkins. He hasn't scored. He's only scored once this season for us. But I think it's like one of them players. You'd like to have a player who he's not like McGoldrick, but in a way, a player who can hold the ball and provide as a striker. Not so much scoring. I mean, it'd be good for him to score, but having someone who can hold up the ball a bit. Because McGoldrick was one of them players for us who held that ball really well. He scored a fair few goals, but he was providing for Murphy or Sears, and that is sort of who we kind of need to have in. I mean, Norwood and Jackson's your go-to, obviously, but you forget we've still got Sears, but Sears is getting on a bit as well. He's probably a better player to get when you're needing a sub, a bit of pace, to come on.
Super sub, yeah.
So if Ipswich were to get rid of, get in some players, who would you bring out, take them out and sell them?
Oh,
who would be the player that you get rid of?
I don't know about that. I don't have a clue.
That's a tough one. That.
I mean, I wouldn't get rid of any I could sort of players, like our youngsters, or you've got to keep hold of them because they're the future.
100%.
They're the future of the football club. I mean, Judge is getting very near to the end of his career now. Must be. But
Christ, yeah.
I don't want to be too harsh on him. But I think if anyone we're going to be getting sort of rid of, I think probably Judge maybe. And
I think, in my opinion, that's my opinion.
yeah. Whatever happened to Barry Cotter, by the way? Anyone know? Barry, is he at Chelmsford? Is he on loan?
I think we're on a phone there.
Yeah, because Mick played him a bit, didn't he? Before he finished with the football club. No one's really sort of heard much about him since, wasn't he? He was meant to be sort of a good right back coming through for us, but
Anyway, boys, we've got a question here from 4-0. Tom, it's for evening, boys. How many teams do we have to have COVID issues before we have a League One break?
oh, dear me.
Surely that should be there, really, shouldn't it?
That's full at the minute, so
Yeah.
who knows the league?
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll answer a couple more questions then. Here we go. If the season ends, which we hope it doesn't, could English football, especially the lower leagues, struggle or go into liquidation if the government doesn't give money? Because lower clubs rely on gate fees.
There's a very big chance that could happen, yeah. And that's a sad reality because, I mean, it's very sad to see teams just get brought into that conclusion. You think of all them fans who some fans have been able to see their football team play, but a lot of the fans, who usually go to the games home and away, who couldn't get a ticket in the ballot, you think, and if that happens, you think, how are they going to feel? You saw how bad it was on Bury when they got completely taken out of the EFL, and this wasn't obviously because of the coronavirus. This was due to their owner being, really bad with the football club, and ended up getting found out. You think, if that was that bad when Bury got taken, just think of how bad it will be with, let's say, it'd be like a domino effect with all the other teams going as well. It'd be sad. It'd be really sad for football because it's just not fair that, it's all a money game now. It's not a passion or anything like that anymore like it used to be. It's all a money game. And the fans are still there, still following their team through and through, years which have passed by. I'm stuck with Ipswich. I could have gone to any other team back then, with all the Man United and Liverpool and Arsenal fans, which were all in the Premier League and we were in the Championship. But I just think I'm so happy to be supporting this football club because even though I feel like they've ripped my heart out a bit, the way they've been playing for many years, I'll still stick by it. There could be good things to come. You just never know.
Yeah, and that brings me on to another question, okay? Harry said, if we do go up, we also need to focus on staying up. What do we need to do that?
Investment we need.
Yeah, if that miracle does happen, we need investment.
Better decisions.
In probably most, if not all, positions, yeah.
And no line either.
I know there's a lot of what's the right word to say? Tension around the management at the moment. Paul Lambert. If he was to miraculously, like you said, Pete, take us up somehow, I don't know how it would happen, but if he took us up, would you still be Lambert out? Would you still want to see a new manager come in? And you would.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What if Lambert took us up?
I mean, again, it's fair to say if he does get us up somehow, fair play to the bloke because that was really what we wanted in the first place anyway. Should have been last season, but
last season, yeah.
And I think if we're going to go anywhere with him, he may end up putting his authority in and actually putting the team onto a better pathway. But I just can't see it. It may be all right in League One, but I don't know about the Championship because look what happened in the Championship when we had him since October. I know that was a different team, but most of them players are still here now. I don't want to be going back down again. That's what
he had more time than Hurst, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Hurst could have done a better job than Lambert keeping us up?
I don't think he could have done the worst one, but they could have done better. But...
Yeah, it's just the fact that I could see Hurst was trying to put a new wave in, but he got rid of our good players. Unfortunately, it was going to happen at some point, but I didn't realise. Like Webster, I didn't realise. I know Waghorn has obviously been going, but McGoldrick let go of him on the free. He's still playing in the Premier League now. I know they're bottom of the league, but he's scored twice against Manchester United. I mean, he clearly is a talent, but it's just when you get somebody, and it's a gamble we did. When you get somebody who, fair play, got a team with a small budget into the playoffs that season, you're riding on luck really. when you're getting players from League One because they've not played at the highest level. They're not playing the Championship. I don't like to keep talking about this because obviously this was only over a year, just over like a year or so ago. But you know, it still sticks with me the fact that we went in for Hurst when we could have gone in for someone a bit more experienced. But who knows what could have happened? You know, scenarios of if we had McCarthy for one more season, what could have happened if he was given a bit more? But
I think in terms of Mick McCarthy, I think a lot of fans, their expectations were too high. I don't know if you agree.
Oh yeah,
but he got us into the playoffs. What, 5 years? Ever since that, fans were expecting playoffs minimum.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it got so toxic. When we finished 12th, it got toxic, and I don't know. I understand at the time why it was toxic. It just felt right, didn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, McCarthy's scouting system must have been very good to get the likes of Waghorn, Garner, deals.
He got some really. I mean, who knew Kevin Brew would be a good player for us?
Yeah.
I mean, he was from Mauritius. I mean, I don't know where we got him from, but he was all right. He weren't that bad of a player. He's better than half the players we've got in the team right now.
McCarthy could always get a good loan. He could always get. He always promised a good loan player from somewhere. Now Fraser, Lawrence.
We had some brilliant loans.
Yeah, we had some good. I mean, I know Paul Taylor wasn't quite the player we expected him to be because he did score quite a few against us when they beat us 7-1. But you know, we had some really good players. I mean, Jason Scotland and Chopra. You'd think that was the Championship team we had up front. It was. We never went down with it. So who'd have thought they'd give only the Santos?
I do miss Darryl Murphy, McGoldrick, all those players.
We all do.
Paul Anderson. I still don't understand why we got rid of him, but
He was underrated.
He was very underrated. I don't know where he is now.
He was at Northampton, wasn't he, not long ago?
He was. Yeah. Probably is now. I think
he's playing on league, is he?
Yeah, I'll never forget when he scored against Norwich, being in that stadium when the playoff semi-final happened. And of course, when all the Norwich fans say, "Oh, we beat you 3-1 the second leg, we went to win the Premier League," but you know,
do you think Berra did the right decision?
Oh, that broke my heart when I saw that. It broke my heart. He was actually, you know what? In the current era, when he was in our squad, he was actually one of our best defenders. You know, I look back at it now, solid bloke. You know, scored loads of headers from corners. Always scored loads of goals for us at the centre of the back.
I think he should have let it in because I think he knew what the consequences were going to be.
Yeah.
But when you're in that sort of when you're under that amount of pressure in front of that size of crowd, I think
the second decision.
It's going to be an initial reaction, isn't it? Really. But what I'm thinking is we can save that for another little show. We can talk about our favourite times as town fans. We can do that for another show. But I'm going to wrap this one up here. It's been 50 minutes. And thank you for all the support, boys and girls. We've got 40 people in at the moment. Make sure you smash this stream a big thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please remember to go down there and hit the red subscribe button. And I'm gonna do this again. Go and subscribe to Coxie, who he's right there. There he is. I want to get him to 30 subscribers. There's 40 people in there. So everyone, go and click this link in the comments and help the boy out. Subscribe to Coxie, Matty Cox, and we'll be well away. All right. Howard couldn't make it tonight.
I don't know what he's been playing at.
It is all a bit crazy at the moment. This year's not been the best. Hopefully 2021 will be better. I don't know what you boys think. Do you think this virus is going to come to an end by some point this coming year?
Not at the moment, no.
You don't think it's going to come to an end in 2021?
Well, I think it's going to get better once the old vaccines get rolled out a bit more. Hopefully that should quash it a bit. Hopefully.
And help it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. Hopefully, I'm sure 2021 will be better because it can't get much worse.
Play again, to be honest. Just want to see us play again. You know.
Yeah.
We're meant to be live on Sky in January twice, so
I want to be back at games like everyone else.
We all do.
I'm absolutely sick of watching the games from home, and obviously I enjoy the streams, but I'd rather be at the games.
Well, how bad are you outbursts at football matches, though? You think you're one, you're hitting the sofa and all that, you're shouting and all that. How bad are you at a football match? Are you whacking the chair as well? Are you? Trying to someone.
But yeah, anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. Obviously, couple of days now, and it'll be Christmas. So have a great Christmas, everyone. I've got a very, very good video coming out tomorrow, haven't I, Coxie? Coxie's seen it already.
Yeah.
It's a good one. So yeah, stay tuned. Tomorrow night I've got a video coming your way. It's a Christmas special. And yeah, we'll all say goodbye. Ramondo, do you want to say your goodbyes?
Merry Christmas, everybody. It will get better soon. Hopefully, have a lovely, happy New Year, and all in prosper. Hopefully, it'll be a good year for us going forward. Hopefully, we can get ourselves in them playoffs or even in the top 2. But that's wishful thinking as an Ipswich fan, so we'll see. But all the best, everybody, and hopefully we can do well. Come on, you Blues.
Cheers, Ramondo. And we'll go to Coxie and Pete.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy Christmas to all you Alex Griffin readers, viewers, whatever you want to call yourselves. We know you're just on it, see me and Matty, really, but
Great.
keep the faith, Blue fans. Keep the faith.
There we go. Cheers, boys. And last of all, it's me. All right, I'm very tired today, hence why I've been a bit quiet. But boys and girls, once again, thanks for the support. As I've said already in this stream, it's been a tough year, and it's not great news what we've heard in terms of, you know, not only the Ipswich news but the tiers. And personally, there's probably going to be another lockdown, in my opinion. I think there's going to be another lockdown. They've got to do it if they want the cases to go down. And yeah, boys and girls, please smash this stream a big thumbs up, because we're going to end it here in a second. And look, we're even getting Norwich fans giving me Merry Christmases. So I do appreciate it. I hope you all have a great Christmas, and I hope you all stay safe, because the virus isn't getting any better at the moment. And, you know, onwards and upwards, stick with it, everyone. We'll get through it. And yeah, remember, one last time, I need to help out the boy. Go and subscribe to Matty Cox. I think he's on like 20 subscribers. So if we could get him to like 30 before I end this stream, that would be awesome. We're on 39 viewers at the moment, which, you know, I'm assuming a lot of people are probably watching the Arsenal game, Arsenal-Man City tonight. And Arsenal are probably going to get battered, aren't they? They're not in great form. And yeah, go and subscribe to Matty Cox. The link is in the comments, boys and girls. I'm going to quickly check what he's on, because he has. I've managed to get him to start a YouTube channel, and you know, it's not easy doing YouTube. It's hard work. So yeah, he's just hit 20 subscribers. 10 more people. Go and subscribe to the boy Matty Cox. Would massively appreciate that. And yeah, his channel link is in the comments, boys and girls. I'll do it again. We're going to end this any minute now. Okay, but I really want him to hit 30 subscribers before we end the stream. All right, there's 40 of you in here. But yeah, boys and girls, here we go. Robbie Porter has said, nice to see some Ipswich shirts, and thanks for keeping me in touch with Ipswich from Somerset. Robbie, I appreciate you coming on the stream, mate, and, you know, showing support as always. We've got Doncaster fans in here, and I think they're playing tonight. I'm pretty sure I heard. But yeah, boys and girls, I'm going to end it here. I'm absolutely shattered. And yeah, have a great Christmas. Tomorrow night, like I have already said, I've got a video dropping on the channel. It's a big one. It's a big one. I've been waiting to upload this for about a month now. So keep your eyes peeled. Set your reminders. Tomorrow night, I'm probably going to upload it at about 7:30 p.m. In fact, don't know if there's any games on tomorrow. I'll have to check. So it'll probably depend on... No, there's not. I don't think there is. No, there is. There is games, but we'll work it out. But there will be a new video out on the channel tomorrow. Jason knows it is an absolute banger, right? But anyway, I'm going to come off here now. Have a good evening, everyone. Have a great Christmas, because I won't be able to... Well, I probably won't be doing any streams for a while. Obviously, when we play again, the streams will be back. I'll keep doing the regular content. I'm actually going to delve into the Premier League and do some Premier League content. I did one for Man United Leeds, and a lot of you enjoyed that. So I might do some more fun Premier League content. But for now, thanks for tuning into this video. Stay safe, everybody. And subscribe to my channel if you're new, because we are on the road to 14,000. And leave this stream a big thumbs up. Subscribe to Coxie as well. His link is in the comments. And I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.